Hey, what's up, guys? Josh Diaz here with episode 46 of my personal blog series. And the title of today's episode will likely be something like Nashville Recap, or maybe not even something like that. That may be exactly what it's called. Just wanted to fill you guys in. I shared a short um, kind of midstream where I was at the end of day one, little recap of what the day had looked like. And then the rest of the week just got so busy and full of activities that I haven't checked in since. So I figured I'd do a little recap. Today is Monday. We got home yesterday evening. So yeah, just figured I'd update you guys a little bit on the Haps. So got home yesterday. I guess it was midday, and it was a whirlwind of a trip. I was out there Monday through Thursday by myself, and then my wife came and joined me Thursday evening, late Thursday evening. It actually ended up being she didn't get in until she was supposed to get in around midnight, and didn't get in around till 1 a.m. And what the first portion of the week was a lot of me, obviously solo, trying to figure out as much as possible. So that involved um, seeing a couple sites that I wanted to see between the Ramsey headquarters, the state capitol, trying to find the Daily Wire headquarters, just fun stuff like that. Jiu-jitsu, trained a couple sessions of jiu-jitsu, and, and as well as a couple job interviews, and just overall trying to network a little bit, meet some people, and get a feel for the area. So it shifted from maybe kind of a business focus to Friday, Saturday being a little bit more of a family focus, or also a little bit more of a fun focus. So Kate and I drove around a ton together as well, and checked out some of the amenities of the greater Nashville area, as well as, I'd say, the highlight of the weekend was Friday evening. We went out to a nice restaurant in the evening, um, and then went out to the honky tonks. Right, so Broadway Street main is the main attraction of maybe the downtown Nashville area, or at least maybe the most popular, or what kind of people tell you about. And it was awesome. So we went down, checked out. It's a big strip of multi-level bars with music playing in every level, and we ended up there's so much to see there. It's funny. It's kind of a small block. It's maybe a 3-4 blocks deep and stuff on both sides. And so when you kind of walk up and down a little bit, you're like, wow, this isn't, like a massive area. But we just went into one bar and ended up staying there the whole night. It was, because it was multiple levels. So you're kind of getting a different atmosphere when you're, on the ground floor versus the upstairs dance floors and stuff like that. So, anyways, it was a super cool evening, super cool trip. And yeah, had a ton of fun doing that. And I guess the exciting news today was, got an official offer from one of the sales gigs that I had been looking into. It was, I guess, maybe the most promising, and um, and have just happened to have started it the earliest, so it was kind of coming together early on, and they were ready to move quick. It wasn't like some opportunities. There was opportunities there, but it was maybe going to take a little while for things to come together. And so, this opportunity, they were ready to meet with me a couple times, but then make a decision and move forward, which was huge. And yeah, it just seemed like a good way to cut my teeth in the sales profession. And and lastly, the kind of core leadership and management team. seemed great. They seemed super warm, welcoming, motivated. Motivated for growth, motivated to put together a good team, and to keep driving the action. And that's kind of once I got the win back in my sales, that's what I'm looking for. I want to be in an environment where people are trying to, you know, get after it and do good things in the marketplace. So I'm stoked about it. Working through the admin process now. So as soon as that egg hatches, I'll probably try and share more details about it um, and bring you guys along the journey as I shift my focus from having been kind of a small business guy to now being a member of this new team in a sales capacity. What my evolution looks like in that regard. And I'm, like I had mentioned a couple videos ago, kind of super motivated by the Grant Cardone um, blueprint and his mindset and advice and things like that. So I'm excited to step into a sales role and try and apply the principles that he kind of talks about, whether it's in his videos or the books or things like that. And so, yeah, so I'm stoked. So things are going to move pretty quickly now that we have the official offer and the moving truck is already scheduled for, less than a month out. And so things are going to move pretty quick, and it'll be cool to document along the way just for posterity, because who knows where life is going to go, even if this is just to so my grandkids one day can see what I looked like at 27 and what my mindset was and what I was thinking when I made certain decisions. So we're stoked. We're stoked to get going. Met some really cool people while we were there. Met cool people through jujitsu. Met a general manager of one of the biscuit chains franchises down there, and he was super cool. So yeah, just felt some really good energy and feel like there's a lot to explore in that area, but also in that region. I have now a connection down in Louisiana who I'm hoping to connect with more once we are in the area, as well as check out a bunch of the region that I haven't seen before, over the next few years that we live there, between just basically the whole Southeast and actually the East Coast and New England and even some of the Midwest. And, I've got a buddy in Chicago. So it's, everything's just a day's drive away from Tennessee that I want to see. And so I'm excited to do some exploring with my lady and I, and lots of adventures to come. So I'll keep it short and sweet. But that was the Nashville recap, basically. And I wouldn't do this video just if I didn't set kind of the undertone, which was that when it's all said and done, I mean, there is a big migration happening right now within the United States. And at the tail end of this week, and I had so much fun, and it just completely let my hair down and was kind of carefree and stopped and wasn't worrying about all of the kind of issues that I think I've allowed to creep into my psyche and agitate me over the last year and a half, coming up on 2 years. I have stopped following a lot of political media, whether it's traditional media or social media or all these things. A couple of influences, the Jocko Underground, he talked about he doesn't follow political pages on social media. He might check them every once in a while, or he might, if something comes up, he'll go to those sources to get the different takes on what's going on. But he, mainly stays unplugged from all of that. And then diving into this Grant Cardone stuff, it's I think given me hope again that, hey, there is a lot of opportunity out there, and really, I'm just wasting my time by being overly concerned with things that are so far beyond my reach that I'm just sitting here mad about what's going on in the city or the state or the country or the world, when realistically the best thing that I can do to affect change is to shore up the walls of my own house, get my own house in order. And it's a classic Jordan Peterson thing, right? Like, make your own bed, clean your own room before you start worrying about the problems of the world. So, yeah, I think the last maybe month or so has been good, kind of shifting back towards, a little bit of optimism and a little bit of striving towards prosperity. And so all that being said, at the tail end of the trip yesterday, we got back and I was just folding some laundry, and I pulled up Ben Shapiro had Ron DeSantis on his most recent episode, and you know, DeSantis is, the governor of Florida, has gotten a lot of attention, especially from people who maybe agree more with me about being able to move freely and live freely within this country. Um, he's gotten a lot of attention for promoting those ideas and putting his money where his mouth is, and truly supporting those ideas in the state of Florida. So it was great to see kind of a long form interview, because I've just seen headlines of kind of what he's been doing, or maybe short little social media clips of press conferences he's done or things like that. But it was great to see, hey, 40 something minutes of him sitting down and being asked some, good open-ended questions to hear his mindset. But one thing, he said a lot of interesting things. But one thing that that really has stuck in my mind, what he said was that a lot of fellow governors out there, in what he's calling these blue states, are aiming to basically treat their political opposition as second class citizens, right? And we have seen that with this, these policy decisions or approaches that have been really not so veiled attacks on the opposition to try and impose their political ideology on their opposition. And I guess just to dial it down, or just to water it down a little bit, a few videos back, I think I had said, hey, these vaccine mandates, I know I don't feel great about them, but I don't necessarily know why. And I think I have finally thought of a way to put it that I think would even allow someone who feels different than me to understand, which is the reason I'm opposed to some of these mandates that have come down is not from a health perspective, right? And I don't think that I think that's why I've had an issue with what I've seen over the last couple of years, is because it doesn't seem like these are public health decisions that are being made, or rational or logical science type decisions that are coming down. It's always seemed very politically motivated, right? And that's where I've been disgusted to see, certain indiscriminate, arbitrary decisions. Those may be contradicting terms, but just arbitrary decisions that will really harshly affect some people, but not so much the other. And it's kind of veiled, or it's kind of marketed as, an attempt to protect people or save lives, or keep the citizens healthy, right? And that's been a big problem here. And so these mandates are just an extension of that, right? And so the way I've been able to wrap my head around it against these mandates, again, I feel like I have to turn it around in my head until I could think of a way to present it to someone who disagreed with me, that they would have a hard time arguing with, right? And the way that I figured I would present it to someone is just to say, hey, imagine if rewind the clock to before this last election cycle, and when these vaccines were coming out under a particular administration, the political opposition was all, oh, I don't know if it'd be safe to take these X, Y, or Z. And then as soon as it flips, and then they're administering, now they're administering the vaccine, rolling out the vaccines or the mandates or things like that. And now it's you're evil or ignorant if you would refuse to do this, or even worse, you shouldn't be allowed to go to a hockey game, go to a concert, go into a restaurant, keep your job, right? So and so that's where I've had an issue with this is because it's so plain to see that this is a politically motivated policy. Because if the reverse were true, right? If whether it was at the federal level or here in Washington at the state level, if if you were to switch roles and the other political party was imposing a mandate on you, you would be up in arms about it, right? But because you're on their team and because it's your team that's imposing the mandates, you feel good about it. And so anyways, all of that being said, I figured I would be remiss to say that the little bit of freedom that I felt, and who knows? I mean, I may get there, and once I get settled in, it may have been a little bit of a grass is greener, and there may be some issues in the Nashville area or in Tennessee. So I'm not taking it for granted that it's a fact, but I will say, a week there was way more laid back. You could go in and out of stores, you could move around freely, you could go to restaurants, could go to these big packed bars with live music playing, and people were just happy and interacting and all that stuff. So I just feel like we're definitely heading in the right direction, and I'm super excited for what these next couple of months, couple of years, couple of decades hold. So all that being said, I hope you guys are having a great week and a great season, and staying engaged in stuff that keeps your mind turning in a positive and productive direction. So with that being said, hope you're all well, and I will catch you next time. Later.